Hello students. Today we are going to discuss a short story titled Princess September written by Somerset Maugham. Before we start with the story, it is important to know who Somerset Maugham is. William Somerset Maugham, born 1874, was a British novelist, short story writer and playwright. He abandoned a medical career to write his first novel, Lisa of Lambeth, in 1897. It went on to gain widespread popularity. His services during the First World War took Maugham to India and to Southeast Asia. The experiences of his travels fill his writings. His most noted bodies of work include Of Human Bondage, Cakes and Ale, The Moon and Sixpence, The Painted Veil, and The Razor's Edge. His short stories like Rain, The Lotus Eater, The Letter, The Colonel's Lady, and the current piece, Princess September, are masterpieces, making him one of the highest paid writers in Britain. Let us now begin with the story. It starts with the king and queen of Siam who have many daughters. To easily remember their names, the king names them after the months of the year. The title of the short story is named after their ninth and youngest daughter, September. The king of Siam is fond of starting new rituals. Instead of receiving gifts on his birthday, he actually showers gifts on his daughters. Once, he gifts all his daughters with a green parrot, each in a golden cage, on his birthday. The parrots turned out to be very gifted. Trained by the princesses, they can chant, "God save the king," and one of them even says, "Pretty Polly," in 7 Oriental languages. One day, Princess September finds her pet parrot dead when she goes to greet it in the morning. Extremely sad, she lies in her bed when a little bird hops into her room and sings her a song about the elements of natural beauty in the king's garden. When the princess appreciates the bird's song, it bows to her and asks if it can serve as her pet bird. When she claps in agreement, the bird sings her to sleep. Both the king and the queen admit that the little bird is much superior to the parrots in his singing skills. The parrots are repetitive, chanting "God save the king" continuously, which annoys the queen. At other times, they irritate the king by saying "Pretty Polly" in 7 languages, much like the counselors. Here's a question for you. Can you name a few songbirds in your locality? A few common songbirds are sparrows, thrushes, mynas, shrikes, finches, and flycatchers. Do you remember how they sing? Next time when you spot them in your locality, make sure to record their calls. The parrots and the 8 princesses are distressed by the judgment that the bird is better than the parrots. Princess September, however, regains her spirits and prances around the palace. September sings like a lark, and the little bird sings like a nightingale. Now, the 8 princesses volunteer to buy Princess September another pet, green and yellow parrot, with their pocket money. September replies that she already has a pet bird. Her sisters convince her to put the songbird in a cage to ensure it does not fly away. The bird is away for a long while, and September is anxious that he will not return. Her sister's warnings make September even more suspicious. When the little bird flies back at night, he tells her that his father-in-law wished him to stay back. He has, however, returned to ease her anxiety. Deciding to take no more risks, the princess put him in a golden cage with an ivory perch. She tells the puzzle bird that it is for his safety against her mother's cats which prowl around at night. Trusting her, the bird has its supper, but when he tries to sing, he realizes he does not feel like singing. September advises him to go to sleep. Much to the bird's dismay, the princess does not unlock his cage next morning. He cries throughout the day to be let out, but she is firm. The bird stops eating and singing, which troubles her, but her sisters strongly support her decision to keep the bird caged. They even told her that if the little bird starves to death, it will serve him right. After all, he refuses to recognize that September wishes well for him. By now it is clear that the sisters are conspiring against the little bird and Princess September. Next morning, September finds the bird lying still on the floor of the cage as if dead. Horrified, she takes him in her hands and sobs. Her teardrop awakens the bird, who tells her he will die if he cannot sing. He is unable to sing unless he is free. The princess grants the bird his freedom, admitting that she had been tempted to keep the bird solely for herself. Caging the bird had been a selfish and greedy act. The bird promises to return since he loves the princess. It is heartbreaking for September to let the bird fly away, and her sisters taunt her for her weakness. But the bird keeps its word and returns time and again. Enriched with his travels in far-off places, his collection of songs grows. The author mentions that September keeps the windows to her room open for the little bird to fly in whenever he wishes. So, she stays in contact with the natural world, and this keeps her fresh and beautiful. The king of Cambodia marries her, and she rides to his kingdom on a white elephant. On the other hand, her sisters are not touched by the fresh air when they sleep because they keep their windows closed. They wither with age and grow bad-tempered. They are married off to the king's counselors with a bag of tea and a Siamese cat for dowry. So, children, what is the moral of our beautiful parable? You get to learn that the human need and greed of possessing something beautiful often means disrespecting its spirit. The freedom of the bird is essential for his survival. Man's need to tame and overpower nature often spells disaster and leads to the destruction of natural habitats and species. That is all for today. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. See you all in our recap and question-answer videos.